file in, so stay tuned. Okay, thanks. We'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon again. I'm Cynthia Dunn, Product Stewardship Manager in CalRecycle's statewide technical and analytical resources branch. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today in person and via webinar for the State Mattress Recycling Baseline and Recycling Goals Workshop. Before we begin, I just wanted to start with a few housekeeping items. The restrooms are located out the door to the left, and in the very unlikely event that there's a fire alarm, please follow us out the doors, down the stairs. We'll escort you across the street to Cesar Chavez Park, where we'll await further instructions. And also, if you wouldn't mind, please silencing your cell phones and taking calls outside. So most of you are probably already pretty familiar with the basic requirements of the Used Mattress, let's get that back up, Recovery and Recycling Act. This law requires CalRecycle to establish, in consultation with the Mattress Recycling Organization, the state mattress recycling baseline amount and recycling goals on or before January 1, 2018. CalRecycle is then required by July 1, 2020, and every 4 years thereafter to review and update as necessary the baseline and recycling goals. The purpose of today's workshop is to gather public comments and input on the draft staff proposal as part of this review and update process. We have copies of that proposal on the back table in case anyone would like to grab a copy. It's going to help guide today's conversation, and the presentation is going to closely follow that proposal. The document outlines staff's proposal to update the baselines, goals, and requirements to be consistent with the statute that was updated by Assembly Bill 187 that was effective January 1 of this year. So looking at the agenda today, we're going to begin with Nikki Castagneto providing a staff presentation that goes into more detail about the statutory requirements, the existing baseline and recycling goals, and staff's proposal to update those. Throughout Nikki's presentation, we're going to be pausing to seek your feedback on our approach to each baseline, goal, and requirement proposed, and as well as the questions listed in the document. Of course, we also welcome your thoughts on anything that you would like to share in regards of, by way of comments, general comments. After Nikki's presentation, Mike O'Donnell is in the room. Thank you, Mike, for being here. The Managing Director of the Mattress Recycling Council is going to share some of MRC's thoughts on the baseline and goal process and the proposal. We're going to then move into an open comment portion of the workshop where you'll have an opportunity to share any feedback that you may have. I want to note that this workshop is being webcast, so anyone who would like to provide comments during this workshop, you're going to need to wait for someone to bring you a microphone, and if you could please state your name and affiliation. It is working? Great. We confirm that webcast participants can hear us, so that's great. For those participating via webcast, please send written comments during the meeting to the link that you see on the screen, mattresses@calrecycle.ca.gov, and include Mattress Workshop on the subject line. We welcome any public comments on the staff proposal through Friday, March 20th. I'd like to introduce the panel right now. To my left is Nikki Castagneto, and she'll be delivering today's presentation. Heather Beckner is to her left, and Nikki and Heather are co-leads on the Mattress Stewardship Program. And Allie is down there on the end, and Allison Williams is the supervisor of the EPR unit that has the paint, mattress, and carpet EPR programs. With that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Nikki to do staff presentation.
And this is just a quick reminder that there is a sign-in sheet in the back. So at some point, you don't have to, all rush to sign in. But at some point, get your name on there. And then the discussion document is also printed back there if anybody needs a copy.
Thank you, Cynthia and Heather. Sorry, okay. I want to start with going over some key dates related to the baseline and goal setting process that's currently underway. The California Used Mattress Recovery and Recycling Act was enacted in 2013 to reduce illegal dumping, increase recycling, and substantially reduce public agency costs for the end-of-life management of used mattresses. In 2016, CalRecycle approved the Mattress Recycling Council's plan, and program implementation began. 2017 was the first year of annual reporting for the Mattress Recycling Council, as well as mattress recyclers, renovators, and solid waste facilities. In 2018, CalRecycle established the state mattress baseline and goals for the first time. And this brings us to 2020, which is CalRecycle's first opportunity to review and update the 2018 baseline and goals. And in addition, AB 187, that was passed last year, required the establishment of additional goals and requirements related to program convenience. Moving forward, every 4 years, the department is required to review and update the statewide baseline and recycling goals as necessary. Technical difficulties, hold on. The language in the law regarding the state baseline and recycling goals that were required to be effective January 1st of 2018 was not as detailed as what was established by AB 187, which I will talk about shortly. As you can see here, it required CalRecycle to establish the state mattress recycling baseline amount and state recycling goals, specifying that renovated mattresses must be included when calculating the recycling goals. Additionally, it requires consultation with the mattress recycling organization and consideration of economic factors and other practical considerations. The data used to establish the 2018 baseline and recycling goals came from two primary sources: the MRC's 2016 annual report and 2016 data collected from mattress recyclers, renovators, and solid waste facilities. These reporting entities are required to submit annual reports to CalRecycle, demonstrating the number of used mattresses collected and managed each year. It is important to note that the 2018 recycling baseline and goals are derived from statewide data from all entities managing used mattresses in California, whether they participated in the Mattress Recycling Organization's program or not. During the first goal-setting process, we knew that using first-year data had some limitations, as these entities were new to reporting this data to CalRecycle and were becoming aware of their obligations under the Act. In addition, we knew that the data quantity and accuracy would improve over time, with continued outreach and assistance to explain the requirements of the law and by answering questions related to data tracking, for example. It's also important to note that per statute, the Mattress Recycling Organization is only required to demonstrate good faith effort to comply with the recycling goals in its annual reports beginning July 1st of 2019. No other entities are held to meeting these goals. The baseline and recycling goals that became effective July 1st, 2018 focused on annual increases in the number of units collected for recycling, increases in the percent of materials recovered from recycled mattresses, and attempted to ensure that the law not undermine existing used mattress recycling, resale, refurbishing, and reuse operations that are in compliance with the state and federal law by establishing a renovation baseline. Again, these baselines and recycling goals included mattresses that are managed both within and outside the Mattress Recycling Organization's program. CalRecycle consulted with the MRC and with the public through a public workshop and discussion of proposed baseline and recycling goals, similar to the process that is currently being undertaken. Legislation enacted in October 2019 via Assembly Bill 187 amended the law to include, among other things, additional baseline and goal requirements related to consumer convenience, retailer access to collection sites, and a requirement for no-cost freight services for entities with over 100 mattresses. As you can see on the slide, some of these new requirements go into effect in 2020, while others go into effect in 2022, and we will discuss them in further detail shortly. I just want to emphasize that these are new requirements that apply specifically to the Mattress Recycling Organization's statewide program, which is currently the Mattress Recycling Council, or the MRC. This slide lists the proposed state goals, baselines, and requirements that are described in the workshop discussion document, which we will go through now. The two statewide recycling baselines and goals that we will discuss apply to mattresses that are managed both inside and outside the Mattress Recycling Organization's program. The statewide mattress recycling rate is derived from dividing the number of units recycled and renovated by the number of units recycled, renovated, and disposed of in landfills. Staff propose a baseline of 81%, which we calculated using the statutorily required annual report data submitted to CalRecycle from mattress recyclers, renovators, and solid waste facilities for 2018. For example, as reported in 2018, 1,478,525 mattresses were recycled, 226,068 were renovated, and 409,052 were disposed. Using those numbers in the formula on the screen equals an 81% recycling rate baseline. The goal we are proposing is a percent recycling rate, and it can look a few different ways. The example here on the slide shows a steady recycling rate through 2024 as one example of how this goal may be applied. It can also be applied by some increase of one or more of the years. For example, 81% in 2021, 83% in 2022, and then 85% in 2023 and 2024. So now we'll move into some questions for you all. For the statewide recycling rate, should the goal remain constant, like shown on the slide, an 81 consistent rate, or should a range of recycling rates be considered, such as 81% through 83%? Or should annual percentage increases be considered? Example of 1% increases each year.
Room doesn't look like there are any questions or comments. Were there any from webcast?
No.
Okay.
The next proposed goal is the statewide recycling efficiency rate. This efficiency rate is derived from the amount of material recycled from mattresses collected statewide. It's still changing slides. Stay tuned. As opposed to the previous recycling rate, which is based on the number of units, the efficiency rate is based on pounds that are actually recycled and renovated over the total pounds recycled, renovated, and landfilled. The baseline of 65% is also derived from data submitted to CalRecycle from mattress recyclers, renovators, and solid waste facilities. This is not to be confused with the MRC's recycling rate, which also happens to be 65% in 2018. Similar to the recycling rate goal on the prior slide, the percentage annual increases could vary in number, and we're seeking your feedback again on which is the best approach. Veronica?
Veronica Pardo, Resource Recovery Coalition of California. My question is for the baseline. Given that AB 187 will be adding futons to the collection, what impact, if any, would that have on that 81%? Because I presume that number is based on mattresses and not the addition of futons. So I guess I would just say that I appreciate, and it seems like a very good number, but we may want to consider what impact futons will have moving forward.
Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate that question. I think that's something that remains to be seen a little bit. We're obviously going to work with MRC very closely to see what kinds of impacts they begin seeing with the change in 187. And that's also something that there's, further opportunities every 4 years to take a look again at the baseline and goals and see if anything needs to be adjusted. So, to add, no. Were there any other questions or comments? So that was on the recycling rate. Okay, and then either the recycling rate or the efficiency. Anything online yet?
No comments from online.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, to continue on with our questions, what percentage annual increases are reasonable and appropriate? Yeah. Another question is, using the data from 2018, what is the best baseline to continue monitoring statewide progress in mattress recycling? If not not using 2018 data, then what would be another good option? And then also, we are seeking feedback on if there are any limitations to the proposed recycling goals that warrant a different approach. And if so, is there another type of goal that is with associated data sources that would be better to address recycling?
And just wanted to remind folks that we are accepting public comments through the 20th. So today is probably for a lot of people just an opportunity to hear from staff exactly what's behind the proposal and give an opportunity to ask any initial questions. So we'll go ahead and move on knowing that these are the kinds of questions that we would like feedback on in written comments. Thanks.
Statute says that when calculating the recycling goals, the department shall include renovated mattresses. Therefore, we have included renovation in our proposed recycling goals, as we discussed on the previous slides. In 2018, when CalRecycle established the recycling baseline and goals, we set a renovation baseline that we believed would help us ensure the program did not undermine existing mattress renovation activities within the state. We knew that the first year of reporting data was incomplete and may not have provided an accurate measurement of renovation activities. Since the first goal-setting process, we have gained a much better understanding of mattress renovation through increased stakeholder engagement by participating in site visits, communicating with renovators, as well as having ongoing discussions with the Mattress Recycling Council regarding renovation activities. In addition, the quality and quantity of annual reporting data collected by CalRecycle has increased significantly. We have also learned that a variety of factors unrelated to the chapter or the mattress recycling program impact renovation rates. For example, variability in markets, changing economic conditions, low-cost new mattresses being imported from international markets whose price points compete with renovated mattresses, as well as individual business decisions made by renovators. Additionally, as previously stated, the legislature made amendments to the baseline and goal requirements via the passage of AB 187, but did not specifically include a renovation goal. Given the variety of factors that I mentioned, staff proposed removing and not replacing the existing renovation baseline and goal. Staff will continue to closely monitor renovation activities for trends and impacts through analysis of Mattress Renovator annual reporting data, the MRC's annual reports, and as part of overall program oversight. Some questions we have relating to renovation are, although we are not actually proposing a new renovation goal, what are other metrics that we could use to assess if the program is undermining existing used mattress reuse, refurbishing, and renovation activities? And if there's anyone who believes a renovation goal should be included, we would like feedback on what the best structure to take into account a variability in sales trends and other economic factors over time would be.
Any questions or comments in the room? Online?
Nope.
Ann Brash from the California Product Stewardship Council. Is it easier if we kind of just combine all the comments maybe at the end? Or?
There's an opportunity at the end for general comments and to do that. Yeah, we're trying to walk through and get specific comments to the specific goals first.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
We will now take a look at convenience goals. An important distinction between the recycling goals and the convenience goals is that these goals are statutorily specified to apply to the Mattress Recycling Organization's program, while the earlier goals were statewide and applied to mattress management both inside and outside the program. The first convenience goal that we are proposing is convenient access to collection sites for consumers. This goal is an annual percentage increase based on how many residents live within 15 miles of the Mattress Recycling Council's collection network, with a baseline of 89.6%. The baseline data is pulled from the MRC's 2018 annual report, where they evaluated program convenience in California. The table on the slide is an example of an annual percentage increase of 0.2%. But again, we are seeking feedback on what the most appropriate increase would be. Moving into our questions, we would like feedback if there are any comments or opinions on the 15-mile radius that's being used in the baseline. And if so, what percentage, is that correct? What percentage increase would be reasonable as well?
Any comments in the room or online?
Nope.
The second proposed goal related to consumer convenience is an annual increase of some amount in the number of permanent collection sites, starting with a baseline of 190 sites. Permanent sites do not include events, retailer take-back, or curbside bulky item pickup. The example table on the slide shows annual increases of 3 sites through 2024, but again, we were looking for feedback. Some of our questions are, should the increase in the total number of sites per county be based on population, or is there another metric? And are there any other aspects of convenience that should be considered?
Seeing no hands inside or on webcast, we'll go ahead and continue. Thank you.
The next 2 requirements related to consumer convenience are statutorily required and become effective in 2022. The first statutory requirement is that every county with a population of greater than 2,000 residents shall have at least 1 permanent mattress collection site. And if 1 permanent collection site cannot be established, the Mattress Recycling Organization must host a minimum of 2 events per year and/or offer curbside pickup. For reference, 52 out of 58 counties had a permanent collection site in 2018 using data from the MRC's annual report. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this requirement? The next requirement is pretty straightforward. 2 events per year must be held in counties with less than 2,000 residents unless that county has a permanent collection site. Again, any comments or questions on this requirement? Staff propose one consumer convenience goal that goes into effect in 2022. This goal requires the Mattress Recycling Organization to establish additional permanent collection sites in densely populated areas. While not explicitly stated as a statutory requirement, the law allows the department the ability to require additional drop-off locations to ensure that consumers have sufficient access to the program. For many counties, one site may not be adequate and/or convenient. Therefore, we determined that a density goal would help address those areas. This goal does not have a proposed baseline because it's not currently effective, but it may be established in future years. Do we have any questions or comments on this goal? Staff proposed setting the retailer access baseline amounts based on the information provided in the MRC's 2018 annual report. Using GIS analysis, the MRC reported that 50% of retailers in urban counties are located within 15 miles of a permanent collection site that accepts units from retailers. Staff proposed to use this as a baseline, with the goal being a percentage increase annually from 2022 through 2024. The example shown in the chart is an increase of 0.2%. Again, we are seeking feedback on what percentage annual increase is reasonable.
One comment?
Veronica Pardo again, just a question. What is the goal here in terms of the retail access? What is the assumed outcome in having access in proximity to a retailer providing mattresses?
No, the idea is that the retailer that has the obligation to pick up a mattress when they deliver a new one has access to take the mattresses that they collect to a location free of charge.
Okay, so they're still collecting, they're still doing that exchange upon the sale and purchase
Yes,
of a new mattress. The question is, when they pick up the mattress from the consumer, do they have a close location to take that mattress? Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, this is just to clarify that the retailer has access to the location, not the consumer. Okay.
Okay.
Were there any comments or questions online?
No online comments or questions.
The MRC reported that 59% of retailers in rural counties are located within 20 miles of a permanent collection site that accepts units from retailers. Staff proposed to use this as a baseline, with the goal being a percentage increase annually from 2022 through 2024. The example shown in the chart is an annual increase of 0.1%. Some questions that we have for stakeholders are there other factors related to retailer access that should be considered? Should there be separate goals for urban and rural retailers, or would it make sense to combine them both? And again, what percentage annual increase is reasonable?
Any questions or comments in the room or online?
Statute requires the Mattress Recycling Organization to provide no-cost freight services to retailers, healthcare facilities, educational facilities, military bases, and lodging establishments that have more than 100 mattress units. Increased convenience for these entities will likely lead to an increase in good quality units entering the program for recycling. Does anyone have any comments or questions? we also have some general comments questions that we would like feedback on, such as, are there other goals or metrics that the department should consider for 2020? If so, what are they and what would be the data sources? And also, are there limitations of the proposed goals that the department should be made aware of? Okay, so I think now we can take any general questions or comments.
And we'll also give everyone one last chance to weigh in after Mike shares any feedback too.
Thank you. My name is Joanne Brash. I work for the California Product Stewardship Council. I'm also the vice chair of the Mattress Advisory Committee. I'm not speaking on behalf of the committee today, but I do have the letter from last year. We submitted the letter November 22nd, 2017. And in this letter, we stated our concerns with using the renovation goal baseline. So again, coming from CPSC, and a topic that will likely be brought up with the advisory committee is whether or not removing the renovation baseline is an effective way to monitor the program, especially considering that it's been a topic on the agenda for every single meeting. We do have renovators on the committee who have expressed concerns, and as the law states, the program should not get in the way of renovation. So we definitely hope to weigh in by the 20th, at least CPSC and some of our associates. And it was in our annual letter last year as well, our concerns with renovation not being prioritized like the waste hierarchy dictates. But we do want to say thanks. A lot of the baselines presented and metrics presented today, there are a lot of strong attributes. And just in general, we would like to see increases in all the goals. I think in some of the metrics, a range might be easier, like when we talk about general recycling rate, as we're adding in futons, maybe a range and building in that flexibility would be a good approach. But in general, we would like to see aggressive rates moving forward. The program's in its 4th year, so we would like to see some progress moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Anyone else? Are there any general comments online?
No comments or questions online.
Okay, thank you, Michael. We'll go ahead and let Mike O'Donnell say a few words. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Cynthia. Mike O'Donnell, Mattress Recycling Council. Appreciate the department's work on the baseline and goals setting. We received the presentation on Friday, so we've had a limited time to review it. Again, really appreciate your time. We're generally supportive of much of this process and some of the proposals, and we'll get back to you before March 20th. Thanks.
Appreciate it, and appreciate you being here, both of you. Thank you. Okay, so we moved through pretty quickly. Just want to thank you again for participating and providing feedback. This is going to be really helpful as we finalize the baselines, the proposed baselines and goals. Remember that we welcome the comments through March 20th. In terms of next steps, we will be bringing a request for approval, which is a document that outlines the final proposed recommendation to the director and the analysis of those proposed baselines and goals to a public meeting before July, when these need to be finalized. We're going to be, when that document is available for the public, we will send a listserv message out to notify everyone that it's available so they can read it and provide any further comments and attend the monthly public meeting. If you're not already on our Mattress listserv, be sure and get on that so you can be notified. Other than that, I would like to thank staff for your hard work on this, bringing this forward. This is not something that's typical for our EPR program, so this is sort of the first couple of times we've been through this, and the public participation and stakeholder comments are immensely helpful. So thank you all for being here. Have a good day.
feel free to sign in on our sign-in sheet on the way out if you didn't get a chance to do that.